Hey folks, I want to do a simple talk today on groin injuries. Don't want to go into crazy detail and everything. This is pretty Mickey Mouse. I want to talk about what they are and why they suck. I mean, all injuries suck. All injuries I've ever had suck. Yeah, I mean, I can back that. All injuries I've ever had, I didn't like them. I imagine that most people fall into that category. Groin strains, however, are like all the suck. They're terrible. They can be very debilitating. Groin injuries can affect everything very heavily from activities of daily living, the most innocuous of tasks, all the way out to sport-specific activities or travel-specific activities. Things that require a lot more chutzpah, a lot more mechanical output in terms of range of motion, resistance of motion, and rate of acceleration, deceleration control. And they cover the whole gamut. Almost everything you do day to day, if you're walking or moving or transitioning your weight from side to side or in a twisting manner, is going to hinge on your groin muscles. So let's cover what those are first. Your groin is the region of your inner thigh, essentially, the inside of your femur. Like the medial side of your femur, not the inside of your... Okay, medial side of your femur, running from your pubic bone all the way down to the inside of your knee. Your groin muscles, the 5 key groin muscles, are your pectineus up top, adductor brevis, adductor longus going down to about the mid-third of the femur, adductor magnus, kind of a hybrid hamstring groin muscle, and one of the really funky ones, your gracilis, a muscle that comes from your pubic bone all the way down to the inside of the top of your tibia, so it crosses your knee and forms part of your pes anserine complex at the bottom. We have a couple other kind of ish groin muscles. Some people would say yay, some people would say nay. We have adductor minimus and obturator externus that also act in capacity to aid with essentially hip abduction and degrees of rotation that synergize with those 5 prime groin muscles. So a groin strain or a groin injury is an injury to any of those structures, really. And now, if we actually kind of look at the attachment points, I don't want to try to get into crazy detail because I will screw it up. I can't remember all the detail. But if I go into the attachment points here, running from the pelvis, the inside of the pubic bone, the pubic ramus, the pubic crest, the pectineal line, all the way down to the femur, the inside of the femur, the linea aspera, the adductor tubercle, to the I already said it, the pes anserine complex of the tibia, I have a great deal of... Please move your arm. I have a great deal of control over the limb because of that plethora of attachment points. In other words, in terms of things like ground reaction forces for a closed kinetic chain, in terms of things like accuracy in an open kinetic chain, where I'm positioning my foot when I land, where I'm going to turn my leg to so I have a different angle of rotation at my thigh, at my ball and socket joint, those groin muscles can play a pivotal role. Pivotal. That was unintentional. I'm disproportionately proud of myself right now. And so, because of their plethora of roles, because of their ubiquitous level of activity in lower kinetic chain movement and control, they can have an effect in almost everything in your daily life. So groin injury is one that you become very acutely aware of, or you can become very acutely aware of, that you can become very hyper-vigilant of, and that can become very stubborn to rehab because they're always being used. Think about it. We are walking around on 2 long, bendy, multi-articulated lever arms sticking out of our ass on a moderately to grossly unstable, depending on your anatomy, ball and socket joint with a hinge joint. It's not really a hinge, it's like a hinge, but it has a lot more to it. And then a multi-planar unstable series of joints in the foot that we have to exert a great degree of neuromuscular control to stay stable on. We're just wandering around on this multi-bending lever arm trying not to fall on our face. And when I lift up one of my legs, I am now grossly unstable on the other for all intents and purposes. So my nervous system has to exhibit a great deal of control through my chain to counter that. And when I'm on one foot, the other one's not contributing very much to that. I mean, it adds some flag support, if you will. It can flag out and in and help control that. But otherwise, I'm depending on this for my closed kinetic chain, and those groin muscles pulling from the inside of my knee, the inside of my femur, to my pelvis, are creating a great deal of counter stability to my abductors. I use them like crazy every step I take. They stabilize my pelvis on my femur. They keep me from face planting, ideally. And so they don't really get to rest very much. You have a groin strain, especially if you have a fairly severe groin strain, you go about your daily activities, you're still using it. It still proves difficult to let it rest and recover and heal. And yes, we can operate pretty efficiently when we're not healed. We can operate pretty efficiently with tears in our body, but it still takes our nervous system time to optimize that, to become accustomed to that, and to use that in a way that's functionally capable. And so an acute groin strain can become very problematic over time because you're constantly trying to adjust to this. There's always going to be another novel movement. There's always going to be a curb you miss. There's always going to be a stair you step off of a little bit sideways, or a way you have to twist in order to miss being hit by a buggy at the grocery store or something. And you pull that in a novel way that your nervous system hasn't optimized for, and boom, that old groin injury is sore again. And so groin injuries can be problematic. They can be stubborn. They can be very, very frustrating. And they can be confusing. They can refer to other areas of the leg. They can present in atypical manners. Like that gracilis crossing the knee. I can have a groin injury in my gracilis, and it feels like medial knee pain. And I treat the knee, and I rehab the knee, and I work on the knee, and I try to stabilize the knee, I do all kinds of ankle rehab to try to stabilize from the ground up. And nothing. No bueno. And it turns out that it's a muscle strain way above the knee, and it's kind of manifesting as pain at the knee. And I missed the boat. I think that's the expression. So yeah, groin injuries. I'm going to do a little bit of a series of some just basic exercises we can do, some basic movements we can do to try to challenge and explore movement through the groin, to try to accommodate to injuries in that. I have a right-sided groin injury right now, so I'm just going to use myself as a test dummy, or a guinea pig. And I'll do a bunch of stuff on myself, and I'll film some of the exercises I've used, and put this out as I go. Because why not? Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the content, and hope you enjoy the coming content. Have a great rest of your day.